In this session of the SpaceClaim software training, we intend to draw the geometry of a pipe as shown in the image. The dimensions and measurements are provided in the accompanying drawing. By creating this 3D geometry, our goal is to review the topics covered in previous sessions, since practical modeling greatly helps in reinforcing, reviewing, and retaining the learned materials. To draw this geometry, I prefer to start by sketching two concentric circles with diameters of 290 and 210, which share the same center. As shown in the dimensions on the drawing, along the circle there's a straight line 150 millimeters long, followed by an arc with a radius of 260, and then another straight line, again 150 millimeters long. The section you see here has a thickness of 50 millimeters, and I prefer to draw it separately, meaning I'll first create the pipe and then add these parts to it. So please note that the length of those two straight lines will be 100 millimeters instead of 150. So let's begin our drawing. I'll start by sketching two concentric circles on the YZ plane, the larger circle with a diameter of 290 and the smaller one with a diameter of 210. Now, on the XY plane, I'll activate the sketch and draw the path for the extrusion of the circles according to the drawing. This path consists of two straight lines, each 100 millimeters long, and an arc with a radius of 260 millimeters, or a diameter of 520 millimeters. Now, by using the pull or sweep command, hold down the control key on your keyboard to select both the circular profile and the previously drawn path. Once both are highlighted, execute the command. This will create your pipe following the defined curved path smoothly based on your circular cross-section. To create the flange at the first end of the pipe, on the end face of the pipe, create a new sketch. Using the center of the pipe's circular cross-section as the origin, draw a square with dimensions 360 times 360 millimeters. Using the equal length distance constraint, make sure that the distance from the center to all sides of the square is equal. Then, apply a dimension of 360 millimeters to each of the square's sides so that all sides are defined equally. After that, we will fillet the corners by the radius of 20 millimeters. Then, draw a concentric circle inside this square with a diameter of 210 millimeters. Using the extrude command, extrude this profile 50 mm outward to form the body of the flange. In this step, we create the chamfers on the inner edge of the flange, which, as shown in the drawing, are specified to be 10 millimeters in size. To do this in SpaceClaim, select the Pull tool, then click on the edge that you want to apply the chamfer to. From the left panel, as shown, choose the chamfer option from the available tools. Now, by dragging the edge or by entering the chamfer value manually, the software will create the desired chamfer, in this case, 10 millimeters. As you can see, there are 4 holes for bolts. The larger hole has a diameter of 60 millimeters, and the smaller hole has a diameter of 30 millimeters. The larger circle is extrude cut 10 millimeters deep into the flange, while the smaller circle is extrude cut all the way through to the back face of the flange, creating a complete hole. The distance between each of the 4 holes and their adjacent edges is 50 millimeters. And as you can see, the distance between the holes themselves is 260 millimeters. To draw the holes on the flange, first activate a sketch on the flange's surface. Then, using the specified dimensions, draw the circles at the correct positions. After completing the sketch, use the extrude cut or cut command to create the holes in the flange as described. In the next step, we use the move command to copy the created hole to the other corners of the flange. To make the selection easier and more precise, use the box select tool to select the entire hole geometry before performing the copy operation. Now, to create and move a copy of this geometry, hold down the Control key on your keyboard, then drag the geometry to the desired location, in this case, 260 millimeters away from the original. Repeat the same operation as before, but this time, when performing the box select, hold the Control key so you can select both holes simultaneously. This allows you to copy 2 holes at once. After both holes are selected, follow the previous procedure. While still holding Control, drag the selection to create a copy of the 2 holes at a distance of 260 millimeters from their current position. At this point, since we don't want to redraw the lower flange from scratch, we'll copy the upper flange instead. To do that, we first need to separate it from the main body. The steps are as follows. Create a new plane. Use the Create Plane command. Select the top surface of the flange as the reference. Set the offset distance to 50 millimeters below the top surface. This plane will represent the location where the flange begins. Use the Split Body command. Activate the Split Body tool. For the body to split, select the pipe with the flange. For the splitting tool, choose the plane you just created. Confirm the operation. The flange will now be separated from the pipe and turned into an independent body. Now, we create a copy of this flange using the Move command. While performing the move, hold down the Control key to duplicate the flange instead of moving the original. As you can see, after creating the copy, we rotate it 90 degrees so that it becomes vertically oriented. This ensures the flange is properly positioned for alignment with the lower section of the pipe. Then, apply another 180-degree rotation to the copied flange so that it is positioned in the exact orientation and alignment required. After this rotation, the flange should sit perfectly on the lower part of the elbow, matching the correct direction and connection geometry. When we use the Move command to reposition the flange, the software automatically places the movement axis at the center of the body by default. However, this is not what we want, since we need precise control over how the flange sits on the surface. To fix this, we use the Anchor or Set Pivot command to redefine the reference point for movement. Apply the Up To option and select the target surface on which the flange should sit. According to the drawing, we need to apply a 10 mm fillet at the point where the flange and the elbow connect. To be able to do that, we first have to merge the parts so they act as one solid body, which we do using the Combine command. Once they're combined, we select the edge where the connection occurs, go to the Pull tool, and apply the fillet with a radius of 10 mm. This rounds off the joint smoothly, giving the transition between the flange and elbow a clean, continuous shape. I hope this video was useful for you. To benefit from Mr. CFD's services, including simulation, consultation, and training, visit our website and contact us via these addresses.